When I started doodling, I never used to use sketches in my drawings, but I was always looking to improve the look of my drawings. So a couple of years back I decided to sketch my doodles out first, or at least give a loose idea of what was gonna go where. By sketching it out first, it enabled me to make a better composition of the doodles and make better line art in the later stage of the drawing. Of course, there's nothing wrong with doodling freehand, but this video is just about the techniques that I use and that I think will be helpful for you guys. One of the questions that you guys ask me the most is, how do you come up with ideas for doodles? What I often use is this scrappy sketchbook. The fun part of this sketchbook is that there is no pressure at all to make something pretty. It can be as shitty as you want. It's just there to let my ideas flow and get me started without being scared of the empty white canvas. Sometimes I use this sketchbook to make quick thumbnail sketches of the drawing I'm gonna make. I try to avoid looking at details at this stage. It's just about making the bigger picture look right. I also use this sketchbook to take a moment and come up with new doodles. Because sometimes I get stuck into drawing the same doodles over and over again, so this sketchbook helps me to take a step back and think of new things I can add to my drawings. Coming up with doodles isn't difficult, it just takes time and you need to make an effort to let your brain be free and look for interesting things to draw. One thing that works for me is finding inspiration in the things that you love and diving deep into them to find things that you can incorporate in your art. One of my inspiration is the big city. Cities like New York, London, LA inspire me a lot, and I try to incorporate some of those subjects in my drawing. Other inspirations can range from skating, music, to even some Japanese culture. For the little monster characters, or I just call them doodles, it comes pretty easy to me, since I naturally have a very strong imagination. I grew up watching a ton of cartoons like SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents or Adventure Time. I was so obsessed with these cartoons that I think you can still see the influences they make on my characters. Here are some tips that are helpful to me for coming up with doodles. Try to make their expressions interesting. Give them a wide open mouth or make them really mad or disappointed. It'll make the doodles more convincing and more interesting to look at. Other ways to achieve this is to change up their body. Give them special ears, extra eyes, make them slimy or furry, and there are many more effects that you can apply. All those different ways will make your doodles more unique. The pencils I use are Staedtler Mars Lumographic pencils. I usually use an H pencil to sketch, since it allows me to sketch very loosely. I always prefer to draw with loose strokes. Most of the time I start out with the outer shape of a specific doodle, just to give me an idea on how it would look in the drawing. Then I can loosely add some details if the general form looks good. If you feel like the doodle doesn't look good, then just erase it. I used to be so afraid to erase stuff, but there's a sketching phase for a reason. You can just erase it and start over again. But also don't be too afraid of making mistakes, because sometimes you just have to trust your gut feeling and go for it. What's been the most important during the sketching phase for me lately is to get the composition right. Getting the composition right might sound weird to say about just a doodle artwork, but by doing this for years, I've come to learn that the arrangement of the doodles plays a big role in the final work. I like to use a variety of rectangular doodles in contrast with more round doodles. I feel like it gives the end result more depth and makes it more interesting. Talking about making your art more interesting, Skillshare is an excellent place to learn that. They make this How to Doodle series possible, and I'm so happy that there is back again to sponsor the channel. If you don't yet know what Skillshare is, it's basically an online place where you can learn and teach all kinds of skills. The classes range from art, design, social media, business, illustration, and even sketching, the subject we've talked about in this video. I have linked a couple videos down below that I found very helpful and that I think you guys should definitely check out if you wanna improve your art. Skillshare is also very affordable, and for the first 500 people that click the first link in the description, I have a 2-month free trial. You get a premium membership of Skillshare, which gives you access to all of the classes to learn new skills or to improve your existing skills. If you would try it out, that would mean a lot to me, and it would also support the channel as well. I know this was a bit of a different video, but you guys always ask for more tutorials, and although I made some in the past, looking back at them, I think they were not very helpful. So I decided to take a different approach on this and really go more in depth into my process. So yeah, make sure to let me know in the comments what you thought about it. I'm very excited to read the comments. Next part will be about inking and coloring. I know I haven't made like a crazy art video or crazy challenge video in a while, but I have big plans coming up, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, make sure to drop a like on the video, and I'll see you in my next video on Saturday.
Sinatra, and since I made it here, I can make it anywhere. Yeah, they love me everywhere.